This example is on simplifying algebraic fractions. So it's expressed as a single fraction, all of this here information. Okay, in order to express this as a simple fraction, we'll just write the question out again, first of all. Now you need to think back to when you were adding and subtracting fractions in primary school and also even in first year. Fractions without algebra. So we'll just think of one over here. If we had a half minus a third, how would we work that out? First of all, we find our lowest common denominator. In order to find our lowest common denominator, we multiply the two numbers in the bottom. So it's going to be 2 by 3, which is 6. 2 divides into 6 3 times, and then it's going to be 3 times 1. 3 divides into 6 2 times, and then it's going to be 2 times whatever number is in the top. And don't forget your minus sign in the middle. The next step then is going to be 3 times 1, which is 3, minus 2 times 1, which is 2, and that's all over 6. And then 3 minus 2 is 1 over 6. Now coming over to this kind of example. We again need to find our lowest common denominator, which is 6. 2 divides into 6 3 times, so it's going to be 3 times 5x minus 3. 3 divides into 6 2 times, and don't forget your minus, and it's going to be times by 2x plus 1, and then we need to multiply out our brackets. So multiplying out my brackets for this example, I'm going to multiply them out underneath, so we're left with 15x minus 9 minus 4x minus 2. Just to show where I got that from, 3 times 5x is 15x, 3 times minus 3 is minus 9, minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x, and minus 2 times plus 1 is minus 2. And that is all over 6. And then the final thing we'll do to simplify is adding and subtracting our like terms. 15x minus 4x is 11x, minus 9 minus 11 is, minus 9 minus 2 is minus 11, and that is all over 6. So it says expressed as a single fraction. That is it expressed as a single fraction. Moving on to example 2. Now example 2 looks a lot more complicated because it basically looks like it's flipped over. We have the algebra part on the bottom this time. Now it's still thinking of our example from up above. In order to get the lowest common denominator, it was 2 times 3. So for this question, we'll just write it out again first of all. 4x minus 2 minus 1 over 2x minus 1. So to find my lowest common denominator for this one, we did 3 times 2, which is, we normally write down 6, but we'll just leave it as 2 times 3. Now when we do it, so we'll write 6 here underneath. 2 divides into 6 3 times. And then it was 3 times whatever number was in the top. And then 3 divides into 6 2 times. So it's quite like the opposites. 2 divides into 6 3 times. 3 divides into 6 2 times. So when we're doing it over here, when we're finding our lowest common denominator, you write down the lowest common denominator is the two of them multiplied by each other. We've no simpler way of writing that. And then it is 4x minus 2 divides into this full thing the opposite number of times. So it divides into it 2x minus 1 times. And it's going to be times by whatever's on the top. And then 2x minus 1 divides into the full thing 4x minus 2 times. So again, it's quite like the opposites. And then at the very end, we need to write in our minus 1 here as well. So just to go through that again, 2 divides into 6 3 times, 3 divides into 6 2 times. This divides into the bottom 2x minus 1 times. This divides into the bottom the opposite number of times as well. And don't forget to write in your 3 and in your minus 1. Now in order to simplify this, we need to multiply out our brackets. 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times minus 1 is minus 3, minus 1 times 4x is minus 4x, minus 1 times minus 2 is plus 2. And then that is all over 4x minus 2 by 2x minus 1. Now it doesn't make a difference. We can try to simplify this further if we want, or we can just leave the bottom as it is. And then to simplify the top part, add your x's together. You can see that it's going to be 2x, and then minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1, and then that is all over 4x minus 2, bracket 2x minus 1. Now you can see something happening here now. 2x minus 1 is on the top, but 2x minus 1 is also on the bottom. Anything divided by itself is 1. So then to simplify it further at the very end, it's going to be 1 over 4x minus 2. Now this doesn't always happen, but it just happened in this particular example.